Welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Join us for the latest in news, views, and conversation with community leaders. The Pulse of Spokane is brought to you in part by Homes for You, Well-Dressed Walrus, Spokane Firefighters Local 29, Creative Music Learning Center, and North Idaho Events. Now, put your finger on the Pulse of Spokane.
Well, welcome to the second edition of the Pulse of Spokane for 2020. I still stumble over that because I keep thinking next year is 2020, but we're in next year. Am I the only one having that problem? Don't answer that. I don't want to know the answer. Hey, I got a couple of interesting guests today. Brandon Vetter with Divine Merchant Solutions is going to talk about credit card processing and all that goes with that. And I think you and I will learn something today. And then an old friend, Justin James Live. Now I say that in teasing him because he's sitting way over there. What are you, 21 now, 22? 21. He can now drink at the establishments where he plays his guitar and plays violin and everything else. But he's well known for some other things that he's doing. He's changing careers slightly and moving down to a little bit of a different direction. He'll keep playing music and singing for that he's promised us, or we'll tar and feather him or something. I'm not sure what. One of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. I really mean that. Just, we hear about all the negative things of our young people today. This is the opposite. This is the other end of that link. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you'll meet with Brandon right after this.
Think of North Idaho Events as your business development advisor. We produce events of all kinds: trade shows, themed expos, fundraisers, corporate workshops, and more. We will discover the most appropriate event that your company can most opportunistically shine. We provide the platform to feature local businesses in front of a high quantity of their ideal customer. Share your story with April Howard over a cup of coffee so she can most appropriately guide you and your business into new heights and create a most mutually beneficial relationship.
Welcome to a new kind of talk show, Spokane Talks, where you find news, views, and conversations that include respect for opinions, facts, and diversity.
Spokane Talks, Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Fox 28.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well-Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful. It needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
Well, welcome back. One of the reasons I love doing this program is I get to meet new and interesting people. And Brandon Vetter with Divine Merchant Solutions, you're one of them. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Are you ready for the new year?
Happy New Year.
Okay, yes, no kidding. Can you believe we're 8 days into the new year?
Not until I have to write it on a check, and
I know.
I have to put that.
And how many times in the past did we used to, the banks just learned for the first month that if it's the last year, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah,
and now they're telling you to not just put 20, but to put 2020.
So I don't get it confused.
Yeah. Anyway, so tell me about your business, Merchant Solutions.
I started out in the business from the other side. I was actually a merchant, and I owned a garage and a limousine service. And after a while, I kind of got fed up with the credit card processing companies, or at least I felt they were taking like half my profits.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
and figured you could do it better too.
Yeah,
right?
I thought, well, I'll do this better. So I got into the industry, knocking on doors and just business to business, and this was 14 years ago.
Wow.
And then I figured out there's actually a really big science to this whole thing.
Okay.
It's not just what somebody scratches on a piece of paper and says, here you go.
Yeah.
Whether it's a type of terminal, how it selects your debit or credit transactions first, whether you have, for example, like if you have a company that does card not present and you're selling like wholesale or taking customers over the phone, there's certain parameters that if you do give you a better rate.
Okay.
So over time,
You got to be smart about it.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of classes you go to find
No,
these things
no.
out. So a lot of it was trial and error. So after 14 years, people come to me because they know that I create systems for them, not just a rate. I go into restaurants and organize their entire staff into learning a new point of sale system, or a corporate environment where
Okay.
you've got 50 employees that are, doing telemarketing, and they have to take credit card numbers and security and PCI compliance, and it goes on and on. It's a
No
much bigger
kidding.
industry now than it used to be.
Yes.
When I first got into it, we had a little credit card machine that looked like a telephone.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was it. That was, there's only one manufacturer, and it was real
Made it
simple.
pretty simple.
So it's
My biggest complaint when I go to, in fact, I said this the other day at a store, is, and I said, where do I put the card in? They're not all the same, are
Yeah,
they?
no,
You know,
no.
it's like, okay, I know what it is at Office Depot because we go there a lot and so
Yeah.
forth, and here and there and so forth. But I don't always remember, and I'm pulling out the card going,
Well,
okay, we
swipe,
have to,
guys.
yeah.
Or do you tap? Or,
How do we get that changed so
And
it can
I-
be one system?
I wish it was that
It's not going to
way.
happen, is it?
Yeah, no, not right now.
Yeah.
They're working on it in other countries, and
Yeah.
the EMV card has been a complete makeover of our industry for. Since 1967, we haven't changed the magnetic strip until the EMV card came out, and all of a sudden it was law, and we were scrambling and trying to get everybody updated, and it's now starting to finally grab
Yeah.
a hold and become mainstream.
Is
with
it
everybody.
safer for us?
It is much safer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, the magnetic strip is a very, it's just as dangerous.
Yeah.
Anybody can copy them and duplicate cards. The chip is far better security.
I got to ask from a consumer's point of view. I've been told recently, well, when you go put your card in at the gas station, use the gas pump that's closest to and is seen by the people inside. Less chance of having somebody monkey around with it and put one of those little card readers in or something like that.
Yeah.
But when we go to the store, when we get gas, when we go drive through McDonald's, wherever it is today, what are some things that we should be aware of and think about?
One of the biggest things is restaurants are starting to convert over to pay at the table.
Yes.
A lot of their customers aren't real receptive to it yet.
Yep.
But here's the flip side, and we don't see it a lot here in the Washington Coeur d'Alene area, but in bigger cities, the pay at the table is so secure because if you think about it, you handed your card to somebody,
Yep.
everybody's got these cell phones with cameras on them now.
Yes.
So they take it in the back, take a picture of your card, slip it out, boom, they give you your card back, and all of a sudden you get a $10,000 charge
Yeah.
that you just bought somebody a new big screen TV.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to encourage people that if you see restaurants starting to move over to that,
Yes.
encourage them.
And see, I've
let
been
that-
resistant to do some of that. Part of it's my age
Yeah.
and old school, but
Sure.
okay, I learned something.
Yeah. So and that's part of we've actually put systems out there, and the customers were so objection to it, we actually had to pull them back.
Oh, really?
So if you do see something like that, know it's for your security and your safety, and it's not. Things
Wow.
are going to have to change because the numbers on the card within the next probably 2 years. They have already notified us they're going to take the numbers off the card, and that's for one of these reasons.
Okay.
It's because even just putting the
So
numbers
it would be
on
the
is-
chip that would do
yeah,
it.
it would just be chip only. And eventually you're going to see computers come out with chip readers on them too, or NFC. And so you won't even put in card numbers if you want to buy something online. You'll just tap it on your lap. In fact, that's already the NFC where you can tap it on your laptop is already out there and being made right now.
Wow.
So
What else is coming? This is interesting.
MasterCard's doing a thumbprint one they're experimenting with so
Okay.
that you stick your EMV card in with your thumb on top of it, and it reads your thumbprint, which is pretty secure too.
Yes.
They're doing some prototypes right now, and I don't know whether that's I don't know how far that is out there,
Yeah,
where people
yeah.
are going to be receptive or not, but
Yeah.
it's definitely there.
So like our phone, we can open our phone or go with it in terms of the card.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the camera to come up on the display that has facial recognition for your card. Now that would be pretty cool.
Yes,
you
it
stick
would
the
be.
card in,
It
it has
would
to
be.
recognize you.
Yeah, except I think the machines would probably break down when they see my face. So you just don't know. Okay, so what is the service specifically that you offer a business, a small business, medium-sized business? Let's talk about that.
Well, it starts with the credit card processing. We like to save people money. We like to put you on a plan. Just because you hear a rate, one rate doesn't fit all customers.
Right.
So we try. I like to educate my customers. I like to sit down with them, do a cost analysis, read their statement to them.
Okay.
Make them feel comfortable with what we're doing.
Right.
Because it's just, if you don't feel comfortable, then we shouldn't be doing business.
Because it isn't necessarily plan A that
Yeah,
works for them.
exactly.
Too. It might be C or D down the road.
So we analyze things.
Okay.
We tell people what we can do, and then we try and find solutions that fit their business best.
Okay.
Like for example, if you've got a bunch of carpet cleaning trucks out there,
Yes,
and
yes.
how could we put card readers that are secure, that the employees aren't going to lose or break? How
Yeah.
much is it going to save you money? And then we look at all of the different processes and how it affects your bottom line.
Yeah, and maybe it's a card processor on something like that where they take it into the customer, and the customer never really loses, the card to go out to the truck or whatever it might be.
Exactly. And
taking after your restaurant scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we do stuff like that, even down to the extent of, say I've got 50 trucks out there.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we have disgruntled employees, and we don't want them to take our ability to run credit cards with them.
Right.
We even have software where you can add, delete,
Oh, wow.
change. You can allow this guy over here to do
So it's a useless item to them.
Yeah, so this guy over here, it's a $10 little thing for their phone or whatever, but this guy over here gets to do refunds because he's in management. This guy over here can only do. So there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
And to find a specialist, the banks, they have a package little box deal here. You can, this is, if it falls within these parameters, we can sell it to you. But when you get to the point of thinking outside the box and knowing all the different products out there.
Okay.
I used to work for Intuit and QuickBooks. I worked for Harris Trust. I worked for some pretty big people.
Yeah.
And learned,
Now you work for the best boss.
Yeah, now I work for me.
Yeah.
So we have a variety of different products that fit many industries. I specialize in restaurants, bars, and corporations that take corporate cards over the phone or business cards.
Okay.
Those are my three specialty. We're happy to do a lot of other things.
Right.
But my big clientele, those are the ones that I like to.
Great. How can people get in touch with you?
They can come to my office over in Coeur d'Alene, or they can call me. We can give a number at 208-625-0892. And you can also look up Divine Merchant Solutions, and it's spelled with an E, D-E-V-I-N-E, merchantsolutions.com.
All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Congratulations on 14 educating years, right? And we're continuing to learn, right?
Definitely.
You can't just sit back and
It
assume.
never stops,
ends.
especially
Yeah.
right now in today's
Right.
technology age.
Thank you. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, Justin James Live will be here.
Here at Creative Music Learning Center, we are dedicated to your learning no matter where you are on your journey. Whether you are a beginner, a casual player, or need some brushing up on technique, we are here for you. When you begin lessons with us, our teachers take the time to understand what kind of learner you are and how we can help you further your knowledge, offering a variety of instruments including piano, guitar, voice, violin, and more. We are here and ready to get started with you.
I had no idea how to be an adult, let alone a mom. I grew up in over 20 foster homes, so I partied to escape. I wanted to change, but I had no idea what to do. UGM showed me that healing begins with the heart, with understanding how much we are loved by a good God. My kids and I started over with a whole new foundation. Real people, real change. Union Gospel Mission.
Think of North Idaho Events as your business development advisor. We produce events of all kinds: trade shows, themed expos, fundraisers, corporate workshops, and more. We will discover the most appropriate event that your company can most opportunistically shine. We provide the platform to feature local businesses in front of a high quantity of their ideal customer. Share your story with April Howard over a cup of coffee so she can most appropriately guide you and your business into new heights and create a most mutually beneficial relationship.
Welcome to a new kind of talk show, Spokane Talks, where you find news, views, and conversations that include respect for opinions, facts, and diversity.
Spokane Talks, Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Fox 28.
Well, once in a while we bring people back because I guess number one, they've got an interesting story to tell, but number two, we like them. And this young man, and I think I've said it earlier in the program, anyone under 60 is young to me, okay? But this young man is a genius in so many ways. Justin James Live. Live is not your last name.
It's not.
And I forget what it is because I so see the live all in caps and so forth. But Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's a new year, and I get so excited.
Do you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I was teasing you with the previous guest that, here you are. When you go to, what's the one on the hill out there, the winery?
Arborcrest?
Arborcrest and so forth. You could go as an entertainer and play there.
Yes.
Where people under 21 can't get in.
That's right.
Okay, but because you're classified as an entertainer, now you can have finally have something after the show, right?
I can, and it's funny that the second I turned 21 after the show,
how many people were buying you drinks?
Well, there's a little bit of that, but they're like, hey, so we have this half bottle of wine here, try this, and then here, this is a good starter one to get you warmed up. And I'm like, okay. So.
I love it.
But my parents like it a lot because I'll try this red wine. I'm like, oh, that's not very good. My dad's like, I'll bring it home.
I'll test. Yeah, I'll try.
Let me test it out for you.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Well, let me do a little backstory. You were at, if I remember right, Ferris High School.
Yes, sir.
Okay, graduated from there. And
Barely.
Barely? Oh, come on now. No, gee. Then you started out at Eastern Washington University.
Yes, sir.
Finished just about 2 years or a little more?
I went for 2 years.
Okay. What did you finish?
So here's the story is I always knew I love playing music.
Yes.
And I've always, for my career, I've wanted to do real estate. And
yes.
I built a house with my dad. I saw how that worked. And then starting in June, I started a small company, pretty much a marketing, direct-to-seller marketing.
Okay.
And this summer, I had some early success, you can say. Some might call it luck, but I just kept working.
Well, yeah.
And I was kind of blown away a little bit. And
hey, I can make some money doing this.
Like,
I can have some fun doing this.
I always knew I could.
Yeah.
But having that actually happen, it's like, okay, this is actually real. And
because you probably had people telling you, well, in another 10 years, you'll be, a giant in whatever you do and so forth. You didn't think it would start off quite so fast.
Not quite. And I started off and I got a little bit of early success, and I kept on meeting with people who are years ahead of me, decades ahead of me,
right?
A couple decades.
Yes, I know. I knew you were going there too. Yeah,
I wasn't going to, but
we're gonna have to edit this all out.
Okay,
you know that.
Every time I come in, I get edited. Okay, but I was meeting with these people who are just steps ahead of me, and they're like, Justin, you're doing the right thing. I'd get a ton of opinions. I met with a ton of people over the summer.
Good.
I still am. Just, hey, you want to go grab a coffee? Can I buy you a lunch?
Yes.
And they all say, college is great, but for what you want to do, you need experience.
Yes.
And I kept on hearing that over and over again. Then I'd hear from my grandpa, no, you need a degree. Then I hear this, no, you need to go to college. No, you need experience.
Yeah.
And really, I learned more from just talking to people and, not asking, how do I do this, but who does this, who I can just call up.
Well, and honestly, in this world, if I'm going to buy a house or you're going to build a house, oh, you have a degree, that's nice. Okay. shove that all in the corner.
Yeah.
What experience do you have? What can you show me you've done? Okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm not expecting you to build my house from the book.
Yeah.
Okay? That we learn. And I'm not dissing education or anything. I think for too long, we have spent our time talking about the need for 4-year education.
Yeah.
And look what's happened. You talk to some of the biggest builders in town, and I asked the Jim Franks of Greenstone and others, why aren't you building more? The demand is there. Yes, the demand is there, Kent, but I can't get skilled workers.
Yeah.
And if I build without skilled workers, I'm spending more money going back fixing things.
Yeah.
I'm not making a profit. And if I don't make a profit, I don't continue, you know the scenario. I'm glad to see that we as a country are starting to get back to, it doesn't matter about necessarily the 4-year degree. I don't have a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
I learned by doing, okay? And a lot of us have. I'm not doing the career that I started when I went to college. I've got probably about as much as you have.
Yeah.
I was majoring in sociology. I don't know what that has to do with at all with what I'm doing here, okay? But welcome to the world, and you'll continue to see the changes and so forth. So you got your own little company. What's the name of it?
Property Solutions Northwest.
Okay.
LLC.
LLC.
Google,
yes.
How do I make an LLC?
Yeah.
They don't teach you how to do that in school.
No, they don't. They don't. They don't. Isn't that? I mean, that might be practical stuff to learn. You know. I mean, and what have you found? What's been your biggest challenge so far?
You know, being young has some challenges.
Okay. Yeah.
Because most of the people who I am in touch with are double or triple my age. Well.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
A lot older than me, and trying to be relatable, but then being an expert.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what do you know? You're 21.
Exactly.
I heard on Kent's show you're only 21.
I'm 21.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, sometimes I'll tell people, they'll be like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in my 20s."
Yeah. But you've been doing the building and so forth with your dad and so forth as a little kid.
I've been surrounded by it forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just from hearing the conversations.
It's in your DNA. Yeah. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
So how many homes have you sold?
So I started in June.
Okay.
And so the way I do it is it's non-conventional at all.
Okay.
I'm not a realtor.
Okay.
What I do is I market, I send out, there's probably about a dozen people in town who are in the same business.
Okay.
And it's been really cool to see them say, hey, you know, I'm really happy you're getting into this. You know, this is a great way to you know, set yourself up in the future. How can I help?
You know, that's one of the things on a general topic that Spokane is about. You start off doing something, and there will be your competitors who will come to your aid and answer any and all questions and open doors for you.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know that you would ever see that in a Los Angeles or a San Francisco. But in Spokane, even though we're a larger city than it was when I came to town 43 years ago, well before you were born, okay?
Yeah.
And you look at what the numbers are today and the number of businesses and so forth, but it's still that way. While we're a city, we're a town too, where you know a lot of
collaborate.
people. Yeah, yeah, and that's I'm pleased to hear you say that because you could be seen as this young kid here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that happens, you know, and even when trying to connect with with someone who's looking to sell, because normally the situation for me is I market to people, the information's everywhere and I market to people who for whatever reason need to sell their house fast. They're moving, they have a new job, they don't have the time to do it. It won't go conventional on a loan if the appraiser comes in and they're like, I can't lend on this.
Yeah.
So pretty much what I'm doing is I market to those people, and I just that's the school of hard knocks, is picking up the phone and just learning.
Yes.
And talking to people and then following up and just having those systems in place, and eventually finding that person who I can help, and I then marry them with an investor, whether it's someone who's going to fix it up, whether it's someone who's going to keep it as a rental, demo it and build brand new. And so I'm just kind of a matchmaker and helping people along the way, helping the seller out of a situation, and then helping the buyer achieve their
Now, are you
goals.
doing any of the building,
I'm
your
not.
dad, or nothing?
So he is active out in Airway Heights right now. It's really picked up out there.
Yeah.
And he's doing about 5 houses out there. And I still go to him for things here and there, like, hey, like, what is on my title thing here? What is this? And
Yeah.
sometimes they'll be like, I've never even seen that before.
Yeah.
So, but yes, definitely having, or just people in my circle who I can just
Or your
ask.
dad can say, I don't know the answer, but call Fred.
Exactly.
Yeah, he'll talk to
Yep.
you. Yeah.
I was in a bind this summer and I wasn't able to close with this certain company. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, call these 3 people and say, hey, it's Justin,
Yeah.
son of Dan.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they'll be like, oh, Dan, so.
Hey, use what you can, okay?
That's right.
All right. Because someday, I know you well enough, someday you'll do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just that kind of person, and I really mean it. Well, now that you're in the real estate industry and all of that, what's going to happen with your music career? Because all of us want to know.
It's not going anywhere.
Okay.
It's not going anywhere. I came out on social media just to let everyone know,
Yes.
hey, this is what I'm up to.
Yes.
I'm not going to be playing the bars, playing as many restaurants, playing,
Right.
just doing the stuff that I really get excited about. And that's,
How wonderful. Really.
it sounds great, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does. It
So
does.
it's, it's a little bit of a transition because I don't want to see myself, 10 years from now, saying, sorry, honey, I got to go play a gig and it's Wednesday night. Hey,
Yeah.
Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night.
Yeah. They only listen so long to your excuses.
That's,
All
right.
Having been married 52 years,
I
okay?
haven't.
Okay. It gets old after a while. So at some point, they do expect you to be home a few evenings a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
want to keep it fun. I
Yes.
want to keep it exciting. And
Yeah.
if, last summer I played a ton of stuff that I was
You did.
excited to do.
Good.
And it was great. But even then it was like, man, this is a lot. This is,
Yeah.
and so it's,
I just did one last night, and I've got one tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
5 days in a row. It's,
Yeah. It gets old. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And you want to have a life with other people and family and so forth. So we're going to see you around.
You'll see
Okay.
me around.
When you mentioned that, I found it interesting because I hesitated even sending you a note, an email saying, could you come for our open house and so forth. And you responded very quickly and said, of course. But I'm thinking, okay, he's picking and selecting, and it indicated in that in your posting and so forth. But so thank you. You honor us by coming here today. So thank you very much. So how can people get in touch with you about your business?
Yeah. So for my real estate business,
Yes.
I have a website, Property Solutions Northwest.
Okay.
And so that was a whole nother thing I never learned in college how to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a crucial part to business.
No, welcome to the 21st century, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're one Google search away and one,
Yeah.
phone call away from figuring out how to do
Yeah.
all these things you need to do. But propertysolutionsnorthwest.com
Okay.
on social media. And then for all my music events, I'm going to be playing Friday night in Coeur d'Alene at the Cosmic Cowboy Grill.
Okay.
I love that restaurant. See,
Oh, really?
I love it. See, that's why I'm going to be there.
Okay. Good food as well as good beer and everything else, right?
Well, now the beer is actually somewhat of a factor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now, and you can admit that now.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But I'll be there from 5 to 8. They're great people. They actually are opening up a store right in Riverfront Park, downtown Spokane.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Neat.
so they are expanding, and to kind of hear their business plan is very neat
yeah.
too. But doing that, and then I'm actually going to take a vacation the next weekend. But I'll be playing around and
Good.
staying busy
Well,
with that. And
You need to keep coming back. You need
Yes,
to
sir.
play for us once in a while here and so forth. And thank you for yesterday
Yes.
at our open house and so forth. But keep up the good work, young man. Okay?
Yes.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for watching The Pulse of Spokane. See you next time right here.
The Pulse of Spokane is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksMedia.com, which is solely responsible for its content. The Pulse of Spokane is brought to you in part by Homes for You, Well Dressed Walrus, Spokane Firefighters Local 29, Creative Music Learning Center, and North Idaho Events. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or hear this program again on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com.